Hello everyone, this is Martina. I thought to be talking today somewhat on the light-hearted topic, and that would be how the moon and the lunar cycles do affect our human body. Since we are heading towards the new moon on Monday, I thought it would be fun to talk about this one a little bit. Now, we know that nature is very connected to the moon and its cycles. We see it in the nature in the form of tides, but we see it also in marine life, how the marine life procreates during the various certain lunar cycles only. And so it's very diverse. However, they're connected to one species or certain species connected to a certain lunar phase more than the others. Now, it may suggest that we as humans, since our body is made from 70% of the water, would be in some way, one way or another, connected to the moon and the lunar cycles. And it is indeed so. And some people are more sensitive to the lunation and lunar cycles than the others. If you are sensitive to new moons or full moons, then you may experience the most common symptoms, if you will, already now as we are heading towards the new moon. And most commonly it is sleeping issues, irritation, agitation, emotional fluctuation, often being more emotional than others. And that would be in particular if the moon is close to the Earth, as the moon does change the proximity in distance to the Earth. And so upcoming new moon on Monday is quite close to Earth. And hence you may already now be experiencing this kind of issues if you are connected or if you are sensitive to moon. The closest new moon we had already for this year, and it's been the one in January. Now, full moons also change the proximity towards the Earth, and the closest full moons we will have in August for the 2023. And we will have two lunations in August, two full moons, one in the beginning and one at the end of the month. And they both will be rather close to the Earth. So that's something which we can be already looking forward to if you have this kind of issues. You might have the entire August sleepless, more or less. Now, while from societal point of view, how our world is functioning, we are more connected to the solar cycles rather than the lunar one. Yet there are still cultures we are highly connected to the moon and still cherish the lunar cycles. And that would be, for example, China. From their cultural traditional point of view, we still celebrate, or Chinese people still celebrate Chinese New Moon on the day of New Moon. That's why we change the date of the Chinese moon, New Moon, every year. Equally, Hinduistic cultures, one of their greatest festivals is connected to the lunations too. And it would be always on the new moon in the fall, whether October or November. It does change the date too. And so there's still some cultures highly connected to moon and cherish the tradition as have been part of their culture for thousands of years, really. In Europe, we see that the folks medicine and herbal men and medicine women have been also cherishing and respecting the lunar cycles in many ways. And in particular, we've seen it in the women as a fertility cycle, and which is obvious because the women are connected by default more to the moon than men, but it doesn't mean that it's only women who are more sensitive to the lunar cycles and lunations as such. It's not true. Even men are, just in a different way. And so the fertility is the first physical level which we can see that the moon is impacting our human body, as the humans are replicating the same cycle in some way. Now, another one would be the fluids and the liquids in the body. Similarly to the nature, we may feel that during the full moon, the more women perhaps than the men can feel bloated, can feel swollen in the feet or in the breasts, for example, rather than in the new moon or any other lunar phase. Now, I mentioned the breasts. That is also part of the area of the human body which is correlating with the moon. And the other one would be stomach and digestion. So these would be 4 physical areas where we can see that moon is influencing and impacting our body. If you do not feel that, it doesn't mean that it's not really happening. You just do not feel it, and that's so great. It just more people are feeling it more than the others. That's simply true, and perhaps women feel it more than the men. So that would be on the physical level. On the psychological level, archetypally speaking, moon is representing mother. It means mother in our life, as we have for every one of us, mother in our life, women as a role of a mother as such, if we are mother or not, whether you are mothering your children or mothering someone else, it's just the energy of archetypal presence being a mother as a woman, and as well as nurturing and being nurtured. So in archetypally and psychologically, these areas are reflecting and connecting to the moon. And so perhaps it would be worth exploring if you may have certain chronic issues with either fertility issues, either stomach and digestive issues, to be exploring how is your connection with your mother? Do you feel valued as a mother if you are one? Have you been nurtured enough when you were a child by your mother? And is there anything which you just can't still digest, which happened to you in the past? And so I'm not saying that everybody who is having these issues might be able to connect the dots, but this is just a kind of psychological hint where you perhaps might be looking at and exploring the areas which I have mentioned, if you happen to have these kind of issues. So there will be the psychological part. On the emotional level, in the beginning, I have mentioned that, yeah, we may feel emotional and erratic rather during the certain lunations, particularly due to the full moon. And definitely emotions do play a role during the certain lunation phases. And we do experience, and it is even proven, that certain lunar phases do impact our behavior and our emotional level and stress levels as well. And that has been scientifically explored and researched. And there are a few fun facts that I'm going to be sharing now with you. Now, on the physical level, we see that, for example, people having surgery during the full moon are going through the recovery faster than people who have been having surgery during the new moon or other moons, right? Many times we do not schedule the surgery because it's kind of acute and it needs to be done when it needs to be done. But sometimes it has been explored and has been researched by science in the medical field that recovery after the surgery in the full moon, during the full moon, is faster than during the other lunar phases. At the same time, more children are being born during the full moon. Now that's interesting because archetypally we can say that the full moon, when the moon is full, it's completing its cycle, and it's really period of completion and culmination. It's ending before it starts the new cycle. And so it will make sense even from that point of view, since for mother, for a woman, would this mean really a completion of pregnancy, of 1 9-month cycle, and start a completely new cycle, right? So it does make sense that more children are born during the full moon. Yet at the same time, more people are passing on during the full moon. And so the natural death, equally to natural birth, is more often during the full moon, which, yeah, makes sense as well in one way or the other. Now, another one would be now from the behavior point of view, that statistically there are more incidents, there are more accidents, more crimes happening during the full moon period. And since we tend to behave erratic, we are nervous, and perhaps even after the 7 or 6 sleepless nights, more or less, more tired, and easily distracted and not paying attention, which we are more easily prompt to accidents, but people are getting more drunk during the full moon and do all different kinds of stuff which they would not do normally, being it robberies, being it all different kind of crimes. And so there are certain metropolitan cities in the world who are setting intentionally police force on the higher amount during the full moon periods rather than the new moon periods, for example. And that's a fact. Because they see that they do have to face a lot of crimes, a lot of accidents during this lunar period, as the humans tend to behave erratically. So I thought it would be fun to bring a different point of view and perhaps different facts on the lunations and on our human body, and perhaps also give you some hints if there is some food for thought for you. So thanks for watching, and share it with others if they might find it interesting too. And yeah, see you next time. Bye.